Hi all, how you doing? Hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. And if you're in Clacton on Sea, I hope you're going to do the right thing tomorrow and vote Count Binface. Now, if everybody in the rest of the world who is outside of Clacton could vote, Count Binface would most likely win the Clacton by-election, which is happening on Thursday, uh, the 13th of August. And so look out for those results tomorrow. The chances are, reality bites is that according to where's the thing now? According to Polymarket, chances are he won't win. So if we look at the kind of betting, it says is 8% chance he'll get less than 10% of the total vote. So pretty much there's two candidates. I mean, this is actually, I think it's 34 candidates or something like that. It's the longest electoral ballot that has ever been, um, because basically all the nut jobs have joined in, and there's only one sensible candidate, which is Count Binface. But so he's got a 53% chance of getting 10 to 20. So the reality is he's going to get between 10 and 30% of the votes. So that'd be 89% chance he's going to get between 10 and 30%. So if he gets 30%, he's not going to win. All right. Because Farage is going to get, they think he's going to get about 70%. Um, so reality is he's not going to win. But the amount of media attention on him is ridiculous. Like I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, people from journalists from Japan, Italy, Spain, United States of America, um, obviously the UK. Um, I've been covering him, and basically, whenever you look at the comments in all of these videos, they're all saying, they're laughing at what he's saying, but they're supporting him, and then they would say that they would vote for him if they could. And a lot of the stuff that he says, he's very quick-witted, okay, because he's basically the guy behind the mask. He's basically a sort of political writer, and he does a lot of kind of comedy stuff. Okay, comedy writing. So you've got to be very quick-witted for that kind of thing. And he's just too sharp for these people. Okay. Whenever they're thinking, oh, this guy's a bit of an idiot, he's dressing up as a bin, he just cuts them down to size. If you watch the Sky journalist guy who's just thinking, oh my God, who's this nut job? And then basically Count Binface just kills him. Okay, he starts saying about have you actually been to journalism school and things like that? Because he cuts him down to size straight away by saying things like you're supposed to be impartial and stuff like that, which journalists aren't really these days. They keep want to chip in, and really, as a journalist, you're supposed to just get the facts. And these guys aren't doing that, and he's just pulling them down. Okay, and he's just cutting them down to size, basically. Anyway, so the chances are he won't win, but I think as time progresses, he's got more chance of winning. He's getting more exposure and stuff like that. But the bottom line is you have to be in Clacton to vote for him. And for whatever reason, people from Clacton still like Farage. I think some people will have definitely moved from Farage to Count Binface. There'll be more people who are voting. So I think the actual number of people who are voting will increase. But I think the number of people who will increase and vote for Farage as well. They'll obviously vote for Count Binface, but also there's 34 candidates on the election roll, and they will get some votes and take away from Count Binface. Um, but if we go to so here, the Independent did an article. Count Binface would beat Nigel Farage in Clacton if all Britons could vote in by-election. So Count Binface would easily win if people from anywhere else but Clacton could vote. Um, and if I was in Clacton, I would definitely vote about vote for Count Binface. He's done more for Clacton already than Farage has done. He's put Clacton on the map. If you were an American and you thought, right, I'll just take a little, and you're coming over to the UK and you're thinking, well, yeah, I'll just take a couple of hours out of my way and go over to Clacton. You would probably do that, especially if there was some sort of statue of Count Binface or something like that. You'd probably think, you know what, I'll take a picture next to Count Binface, and that is bringing, money into Clacton. I mean, nobody's going to go and visit bloody Clacton to see Nigel Farage. Okay. Nigel Farage is basically, he's just a charlatan. He's a grifter. He's been paid 500, he's been given for paid, whatever, 5 million pounds. Okay. And that's not dollars, that's pounds. That's like about $7 million. £5 million. It might not be that much, I'm not sure. But it's definitely over $6 million. Um, for supposedly security, okay. Yeah, he goes around Clacton hugging people and stuff like that without any security there. So clearly that's not completely true, is it? He doesn't feel that threatened. Um, but what was I going to say then? So he's been given £5 million, a backhander basically, by some crypto billionaire. And Nigel Farage thinks that by resigning as MP to Clacton and um, letting the people decide whether he's kosher or not is okay. Well, it's complete garbage. He's been told the wrong thing here. He's still going to be looked in. So if he wins, he's still going to be looked at as an MP. Um, his his the money that he's been given, they're still going to it's still going to be looked into. He thought he's being so smart by resigning that they wouldn't look into it because he's like a new MP again, that any stuff that went on before wouldn't get looked into. And that is just complete lunacy to think that. So from that perspective alone, if you were from Clacton thinking, do I really want an MP who's stupid? Okay, who thinks this way, who thinks they can just wriggle out of it by resigning and just getting re-elected? Because obviously he pretty much knows that he's going to get re-elected there. Okay, it's like a sure win. And he thought this was a clever way of getting out of it. And now it's really biting him in the bum, basically, because now he's going to look like an idiot. And he's going to look like a massive idiot if he loses. Now, we've seen the percentage chances. It looks like Count Binface won't win. These markets tend to be pretty accurate, but who knows? Okay, we don't know for sure until it actually happens. But um, I've forgotten what I was going to say then. Yeah, so Nigel basically, now whether he wins or not, he's basically up against a bin. That is his only competition. And the thing is, he's bringing in people in buses and stuff like that. He's bringing in the rest of his party, okay, to fight for him. Imagine that. He's bringing in loads of people. So he's bringing in big dogs to fight off a bin. Eh, my gosh. He should walk this. He should absolutely walk this. But he's panicking and it makes him look like a complete idiot. And every single interview that Count Binface does just makes him look so much better because he's sharp. Okay. Um, so let's have a look at Count Binface. So Count Binface has got a website. So my Clacton 2026 manifesto is here. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Join me, clean up Clacton, and let's make 13th August bin day. So here he is in front of the front in front of the Helter Skelter. I don't know if he's actually in front of it. I think he has actually gone to Clacton and stuff. So that's yeah, he's definitely been to Clacton anyway. So he says here, I will boost the region's economy, prestige, and fame. Right. So he's done one already. He has done one already. He's ticked one off the box already. Nigel Farage hasn't done. He's not been to Clacton. Where he's been there for 2 years already as an MP. He's hardly been. People have been saying that they emailed him and wanted to talk to him about local things, and they never even responded. They never even gave him an automatic. They never gave him an automatic response even. So he had no interest in helping the people of Clacton. Where Count Binface has already put Clacton on the map. I would cut your taxes and raise everyone else's. Okay, so that's not doable, okay, because that's a countrywide thing, okay? You can't do that. Bus fares to be capped at £1.99 and 99 flake ice creams to cost no more than 99p. Now, apparently, I think from what I can gather, some ice cream sellers have already um, produced a flake for 99p already. So that's already happened because the price was something like £4.80 or £3.80 for a flake. And so some people have brought it down already. So there you go. He's ticked that box already. I promise to spend more time in Clacton-on-Sea than in Washington, D.C., and to champion the area. So obviously, Nigel Farage is a big pal of Donald Trump, and Count Binface is not a big fan of Donald Trump. He thinks he's an absolute awful person and wouldn't want to talk to him. And he says that in his interviews. I think he said that in an interview with the American journalist. So I promise to spend more time in Clacton-on-Sea than in Washington, D.C. Well, he'll do that, no doubt. MPs who resign mid-parliament to be barred from the resulting by-election. Okay, so obviously that's something that he's got to would push have to push through Parliament, but that's something he could go to Hansard. So Hansard is like the all the stuff that you write down basically. So you can actually check. So if you go and look at Hansard, you can actually check what all MPs say all the time. So you can check Hansard and see if he's going to do this, and I'm sure he will want to do this. So basically, MPs who resign mid-parliament to be barred from the resulting by-election. Because it doesn't make sense what Farage has done. He's resigned and then wants to start again in the same spot. That's just a waste of taxpayers' money. You know, if you really wanted to carry on doing the job, don't resign, just keep doing it. So absolutely crazy. I would have thought that would get pushed through Parliament. MPs who change party mid-parliament to be forced to face a by-election. That's another thing. People don't like um, changing. People who just change party. So if you voted a person in who represented Labour and then they suddenly went and be Conservative or Liberal or whatever, then you're effectively changing party, and somebody might not agree with that. So surely you'd have to be re-elected, get the vote again, get somebody's confidence again. So that's another good thing to put in his manifesto that I think would get through. I pledge to build at least one affordable house. Okay, so this is the kind of dig. All these manifestos, Labour, Conservative, all these manifestos, every single time, there's always have a manifesto where they're going to say they're going to build 50,000 new houses or whatever, okay, in their term, and they never do it. They fail. So what he's done, he's basically gone to the lowest and said, "I'll just build one. I'll build at least one, okay." And so he'll make sure he builds at least one affordable house, and then he's done that as well. He's ticked that off. So here the fun begins. Arcade grabber games to be made fairer so players actually have a chance to win. They are pretty impossible because they just, they're basically like a 1 in 36 chance, and they just go loose, don't they? So you can't actually win. They choose when they're going to win. Oil and gas companies to pay for solar panels for everyone. So this is a little boy, Jack, who wanted this, age 10, and basically he's stolen it from Jack. But he's at least acknowledge Jack for his great idea. Regeneration of Walton Pier, so it is just as great as Clacton Pier, so I guess that's another pier. A windfall tax on cozy crime novels or written by celebrities. Written by celebrities or written. I don't quite get that. Or written by. Anyway, yeah, okay. Potholes to be filled using copies of the 2020 Labour Party manifesto. Parliament to be moved to my new bin headquarters in Wheelie, while the Palace of Westminster is restored. Okay. People who drive past Clacton Station with annoyingly loud exhaust to lose their license. Yeah, I'm all for that one. Can't stand these exhausts which just bang and make loud noises. I will not accept 5 million gifts from crypto billionaires on Earth. A referendum on whether Pluto should regain its planet status. That's a good one. The hand dryer in the gents' toilet at the Great Himalayas restaurant, Southport, to be moved to a more sensible position. Wayne Rooney to be new expert summariser for the BBC at Eurovision. Okay, because that's obviously basically Wayne Rooney um, basically said that the halftime show at the World Cup was crap, which it was. Count Binface to represent the UK at Eurovision 2027, with Clacton hosting Eurovision 2028. That'll be good. He's already done a song, so that's something. I stand by my past manifestos. So he's then 20s basically some of the other manifestos that he said on other ones he's bringing in, which is good. So he's not just dropping it from this new one. CFAX, speakerphones, nationalizing Adele, renaming HS2 FS1. For fuck's sake, one. The hand dryer at Crown and Treaty, I've got it covered. So there you go. That's his manifesto. A lot of them he's already done. You know, he's already ticked off a lot of these boxes already. So if you were in Clacton, would you vote for Count Binface? I definitely would. And in fact, if he came to where I lived, I would probably vote for him here as well, because I think he'd do more for the area than whatever the local incumbent MP is going to be, which is here in Clacton is currently Nigel Farage until obviously he resigned. And Nigel Farage has clearly done absolutely nothing for Clacton. It's all for himself. So there you have it. Count Binface. Vote Count Binface for the win.